Hello everybody, welcome back to Firefield Junction and welcome back to another workbench video. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a speaker upgrade. I haven't done one for quite a long time now, at least not on camera anyway. I've done plenty since probably the last one that I filmed, but it's been quite a while since I actually filmed one and did a how-to video on it. So I thought it would be good to do another one, and this will certainly be, I think, quite an interesting one. As you can see in front of us today, we've got a pair of the Hornby HST power cars. And one of them being the very nice 43185 Great Western. Obviously you can't buy this power car off the shelf, but if you're lucky like me, you might be able to find a repainted one somewhere, or you can get one repainted yourself. This is a dummy unit as well, so this isn't the one with the motor in. The one that has the motor in after this pair that I run together is, as we can see, 43093 Old Oak Common, and they just ended up being the pair that I run together. I do swap a few of my power cars about here and there. They are permanent, some are, some aren't, but these are the two that I ended up running together. Obviously normally this power car comes with 43016, however I will run that with a different power car on my layout, and I ended up running 43185 with this one. It's just how it ended up. Now currently both power cars are fitted with Hornby TTS decoders, however they are both still using the standard factory speakers. I have been meaning to upgrade them for a while, but I just haven't got around to it. However, fairly recently, after seeing the new speakers that are now available to us, I thought it'd be really interesting to try them and see exactly how they will sound with these power cars, I suppose with the Hornby TTS decoders in general, because they are still quite new speakers. Now, they haven't been tried with many decoders yet, I believe. So hopefully, with this upgrade, it will really show maybe how good or how bad they are. We don't know. We might not get much of an upgrade at all, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we will. This will be worth it. So if we just put the power cars to one side for a moment, get them out of shot somewhere. The speakers that we're going to be using for this upgrade is a pair of the new ESU speakers. We can see here we've got one of the smaller ones, and the size of the smaller one, if I just check, it's 22 by 42 by 8 millimeters. Which is basically the same size as your typical 20 by 40 speaker that comes with your decoder, basically as standard, if you like. Basically the same size. I think it's slightly bigger. I think it might be slightly bigger. Yeah, only ever so slightly bigger by a couple of millimeters in length and width. But for the most part, exactly the same size as your typical 20 by 40 speaker. So this should be hopefully a very good replacement for those if you want to change them. And the other speaker that we've got is, well, it's the larger version, and this one is the 24 by 55 by 8.6 millimeter one. Basically, this is roughly the same size as your typical EM1 speaker. But these speakers, they haven't been out for overly long now. They have been fairly recently, well I say recently, the last few months or so, been released by ESU, so they are quite new. But hopefully, the aim of today is to try them with the TTS decoders and see hopefully what they're like. These are the 8-ohm versions. You can also buy 4-ohm versions of these speakers as well. Obviously, being TTS decoders, you need to use an 8-ohm speaker with them, or two 4-ohm ones in series. But we're going to be using the 8-ohm ones. It'll just be easier, especially with the HSTs. Don't really want to go faffing about with putting two speakers in them at the moment. So it makes sense to go for these versions, and what we're going to do is we'll fit these to the power cars. The smaller version will go in the motor unit because there's less room in there, and then the larger EM1 size one here will go in the dummy, and hopefully by the end we'll have a very nice, brilliant sounding pair of power cars. So obviously before we can fit the speakers or anything, we need to open up the power cars and have a look inside. So I'll put these speakers to one side for now, and we'll grab the motor unit first. I think it makes sense to do that first. And we'll quickly take the body off and get inside. So just flip her upside down. I know I still need to buy a loco cradle. Been meaning to do it for a while, but just never get around to it. So I need to take out the body screws. Looks like I haven't got all of the body screws in this power car at the moment. Fair enough. Usually it would be 4 screws holding these on, but for whatever reason, one of the back ones is missing. That's probably just me. But anyway, take out that other back one, and then take out the front ones. That's again if I have put both front ones back in on this. Yeah, I have. That's good. So take out all of the body screws. Just lift that out. Oh, there we go. Put that screwdriver to one side, and then take the body off. Just lift the back up, slide the body forwards. Be nice and gentle, not to damage any of the wires. There we are. And then we can lift the body off and we can see what she's currently like inside. So there we go. Hopefully you can see there. If I just hold it for you without dropping it, there we go. So you can see, obviously we've got the circuit board inside, we've got the decoder itself, and then the standard factory speaker there. But obviously we're going to be getting rid of that and we'll replace it. Let's grab it with the smaller version of this new ESU speaker, and it should hopefully, if it doesn't fit quite nicely here, might be able to put it back a little bit further in here, or we can secure it inside the body shell there, facing down. There's a few different ways you could do it, depends what you prefer, but as long as we get it in there and get it nicely secured, we should be fine. So if I just put her back down for now, just make sure we don't damage it. So there we go. So what I'll do is I'll take out the decoder and we'll put the entire model to one side. So obviously don't want to have a boiling hot soldering iron anywhere near your very expensive model, because if you damage the body shell or anything, it's going to be very, very painful. So what I'll do is I'll take the decoder out, I'll fit the new speaker, because it is nice and easy to do. You literally just desolder the old one, or you can cut the wires, whatever, it depends what you want to do. Just take off the old speaker, then solder the old one on, and then fit everything back in, and then we can go from there and see what she's like. So I'll quickly go away, fit the new speaker, then we'll come back and see what she's like then. Okay, so there we are, the new speaker's all connected up, everything's been refitted. So all that we need to do now is put the body back on, and we'll give her a test and see what she's like. In the end, I decided to put the speaker inside the body shell on the inside. So if I just lift it up, you can see there, the speaker nicely secured inside the roof, just a couple of pieces of black tack. And they hold it in place nicely, so hopefully it should be nice and secure, so we won't get any rattling or anything like that to ruin the sound. So we'll put the body back on, get the body screws back in, get her on the track, and give her a test and see what she's like. Okay, so here we are. Now, before we put the motor units back onto the track, what we'll do quickly is we'll grab the W unit first, and we'll just do a quick comparison to see the difference. So the dummy car at the moment still has the standard factory speaker fitted. So we'll do a few of the sounds with this, so we can see what the standard sound is like with the factory speaker, and then we'll put the motor unit on and see what the difference is, and see if there's been any improvements. So standard speaker first, so we'll do a couple of the horns. Yeah, as we can see there, the sound is quite shrill, it's quite tiny, there's no bass to it, the quality is okay, but it's certainly not the best in the world, certainly compared to other decoders. So yeah, as standard, certainly not the best. Let's try the engine sounds. Yeah, as we can tell, it's not great. Again, there's no bass, it's not really anything really to it really. It is very basic, certainly not that good. It does the job, which is the main thing with these TTS decoders. They were designed to do the job, and obviously they were cheap, so obviously you didn't expect the best from them. But yeah, standard speaker, not too good. So we'll turn that off. We'll let that shut down. Let's give it a second. And then once it's off, we'll take the power car off. There we go. So we'll take her off and we'll put her back to one side. So now let's grab the bonus unit, get her on, and we'll see what the difference is. So get all of the wheels on, there we are. So now let's do the same again. So let's do the horns. Well, hopefully immediately there you can tell, I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, but immediately there, very noticeable difference. There's more bass to it, the sound's better quality, and it might be slightly louder, I'm not too sure. There might not be much volume difference, to be honest, but certainly an improvement there. Let's try the engine sound. So we'll put her lights on as well, because why not? So let's turn the engine on. Well, hopefully immediately you can tell that with this speaker replacement, the sound is much better now. There's more bass to it, it's better quality, definitely worth it. And obviously this isn't going to be quite as bassy as what the other one will be, because obviously the other one, it's bigger, so there should be hopefully more bass to it. This one is being a tiny bit so crackly here and there, so I might just need to re-secure the speaker a bit, maybe put a bit more black tack around it, so there is a bit of vibration. But yeah, hopefully you can tell there immediately that by doing that upgrade, we are getting a better sound on the decoder now. So with that done, the next thing to do is do the dummy car, so I'll quickly go away and do that. And once we've got both power cars done, we can get them together and see what they're like together with both speakers upgraded. So what I'll quickly do is I'll quickly re-secure the speaker in the motor, make sure it's all properly secured and there's no vibrations, and then we'll come back, we'll do the dummy car, and then we'll get them both together and see what they're like. Okay, so there we are, finally, after a lot of faffing around, finally managed to get the dummy car done. So you can see the speaker at the back here. If you want to, you could trim off the holders for the speaker. They're just here, the tabs. Obviously, you don't have to keep them on. I've just kept them on just for this video, just so we don't have to do loads and loads of work. Obviously, it does fit in, as we can see, without having you to take those off. But again, if you want to make it fit in a bit of a smaller space, like in the roof, for example, you can take those off, but again, I've decided to leave them on. The decoder is then just secured nicely just in front of the speaker there, partially under the circuit board. I might use a new sticky pad just to ensure that it's definitely not going to move anywhere, because you don't want it flapping about and touching any of the metal components or the metal weights in the bottom. But hopefully, just for this, it should be okay. And all the wiring should be out of the way as well. I might have to secure it a bit better, but hopefully it won't be in the way as the body goes back on. So we'll get the body back on with that, I think. Get the screws back in, and we'll get it on the track, and we'll see what the dummy car sounds like. It should hopefully be more bassy because we've got a bigger speaker in here. The main thing is going to be any sort of rattling or vibrating from the speaker, because that is something you do, or at least can get from these larger speakers. You can get lots of rattling and vibrating noises from them. So that's one of the reasons you definitely want to make sure that it's definitely nice and secure. It's not going to cause any issues. It should be fine, but if we do have to re-secure it at any points, then we can do that. But hopefully, this should all be okay. So we'll get the body back on, get it on the track, and give it a test. Okay, so there we are. Body screws are back in, everything's back together. So now we can test the dummy car and see what it's like. Hopefully, there will be slightly more bass than the other speaker, but if there's not, it's not too bad. There's still plenty of bass either way. And I do think that with these speakers, I think that is a thing, that the size doesn't affect the bass too much. They do sound roughly exactly the same, but there could be a tiny bit more bass on the larger ones, which would make sense. But anyway, we need to stop rambling on. Let's get some of the sounds on and see what the improvement is like with this speaker. So again, let's do the horns first. Yeah, definitely better than the standard speaker again, more bass, better quality. Definitely can't complain there. Let's try the engine sounds, turn them on and see what they're like. Yeah, really good. Definitely more bassy than the sound speaker. I'm not sure if it's more bassy than the other speaker. I think it is by a tiny amount, which again does make sense being that it's larger. But yeah, overall, I definitely can't complain about this. If you want to do this upgrade, I recommend doing it. These speakers definitely are really worth doing, not just with these decoders, but any decoder in general. They're brilliant new speakers from ESU. Hopefully we'll see some more from them in the future. I believe they do have at least a couple more different types in development, such as a round one, and I think there's maybe even a small sort of cube bass one or something like that as well. But yeah, definitely worth it, I think. So I think we need to get both power cars together and get them running together, because I think that would be a nice way to finish off the upgrade and see what they're like running in general. So we'll quickly turn her off. Let it shut down, and then what we'll do is we'll get the other power car back on. There we go. So what we'll do, I think we'll take her off, we'll spin her around, get the other power car back on, put some coaches with them as well, and then see really what they're like. So we'll quickly go away, get some coaches on, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so there we go, we've got some coaches on. I've only put 4 on, but it's still technically a realistic rake, I suppose, being a 2+4 set. Both power cars are on, got all the lights on, so all they need to do now is fire up the engine sounds and we'll see what they're like. So let's turn them on and see what they're like together. Yeah, very loud, very bassy. Brilliant. So let's get them running and see what they're like. Well, overall, I think we can say that's definitely been worth doing. They definitely sound a lot better than they did before. Definitely louder together. That's definite. More bass, better quality. Absolutely brilliant. Hopefully we will see, as I said before, we'll see some more speakers like this come out from ESU. They really are fantastic. And it's not too often you see new speakers come out, at least in this day and age, from what I've seen. So it's great when they do come out. It's nice to try them, see what they're like, see what they work well with, see what they don't work well with. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. If you want to upgrade your Hornby HST TTS decoders, I would definitely recommend using these if you can. They're definitely worth it. Easy to fit, and they sound absolutely amazing. So yeah, I definitely recommend doing it. Definitely. But again, if these aren't for you, if you don't like these speakers, if you want to try something else, there's plenty of other speakers out there, lots to choose from. If you do want speakers for your models, I definitely recommend checking out Roads and Rails. That's where I got these from, and it's where I always get all my speakers from. Amazing guy, great service. Again, nice big range of speakers for your models. Sound decoders as well. Definitely recommend checking them out if you want to. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.